What is today? Tuesday, May 11th, man. UFC 113, right, George?
Yes.
Did you watch it?
Yes, I did.
Got any questions for me? Because I'm just about ready to just unload them.
Well, what do you think the top fight of the night was?
Oh, the top fight of the night was definitely Jeremy Stephens and Sam Stout. I mean, that was a good fight. Sam Stout. That's not a tongue twister. Sam Stout. It went split decision in favor of Jeremy Stephens. It could almost gone either way, in my opinion. The fight was good. They stood and banged the whole night. 1 second it looked like Stephens was winning. Next second it looked like Stout was winning. Overall, it was a great fight. No surprises there, unlike the rest of the fights tonight. But I tell you what, 113 was a good card.
So what are the two biggest surprises that came out of UFC 113?
The fact that Lyoto Machida drinks piss and got the piss knocked out of him. And basically Paul Daly sneaking Josh Koscheck after the fight.
Yeah, and now he's sneaking his ass into the unemployment line.
Yeah, that was, I mean, we'll start from the beginning really quick. I mean, with Matt Mitrione and Kimbo Slice.
Horrible.
I mean, yeah, it's horrible. I've been a friend. George and I have followed Kimbo Slice since his internet days, and we were always in his corner hoping he would do well. But it's time just to hang it up with MMA because, one, he has a knee injury that was very apparent that night. He had, I mean, those leg kicks were killing his knee, almost to the point where he was collapsing. It looked like a flashback of the Uriah Faber fight, the WC fight, when he was basically collapsing. But Kimbo is just done. I mean, Matt Mitrione is a decent fighter, but you're losing to nobody.
What's going to happen to Paul Daly? As we all know, Koscheck is now going to go to the house and be the other Ultimate Fighter coach to eventually fight GSP. That should be a snooze fest with two wrestlers.
Yeah, it'll probably be boring. Paul Daly, I mean...
Strikeforce?
Maybe. I mean, Strikeforce. Babalu picked him up. Strikeforce picked up Babalu's. Babalu's another instance, example of an MMA fighter getting kicked out of the UFC. I'd probably say that. I don't think Dana White's going to soften his stance. I don't think he's going to let him back into the UFC. I don't blame him. It was a shitty thing to do. I know Koscheck had you in a clinch. I know he's probably talking about your mom and talking about, hey, you banged your girlfriend and all that fucked up shit. But you got to keep your fucking composure, dude. So you fucked up your opportunity with the UFC. Moving on to what other fight? The fight of the night, obviously. The headliner was the rematch of Machida versus Rua. You know what? Machida did, what I thought he might do, get a little bit aggressive. And you know what? It just backfired on him. He's usually really calm and collective, and he waits for the openings. And he did just the opposite of that. He pressed the fight. Rua was ready for it, and he just knocked him out, man. I mean, that fucking Karate Kid shit was not working. It was not working. So, all in all, I thought UFC 113. Prior to the event, I thought it was going to be a pretty boring event. It ended up being a pretty entertaining event. But I'm definitely looking forward to UFC 114. Now, as we switch camera angles, we're going to move over to our buddy George. We're doing the generic show this week, and we're going to talk about Strikeforce St. Louis.
Heavy artillery. This card is featuring 3 fights, or at least the 6 fighters are all you're gonna hear about. Kevin Randleman is making his Strikeforce debut versus Roger Gracie. I don't know which Gracie this is.
Hasn't Kevin Randleman fought in Strikeforce already?
Has he? I thought this was his debut.
No.
Who did he fight in his debut? I'll find out.
Yeah.
See, right now we can correct ourselves as we go because we don't get a stat boy.
Yeah.
No. His last fight was World Victory Road presents Shinjuku 11. And I'm getting all my stuff off Wikipedia, so don't be mad at me if you knew. No, this is his Strikeforce debut versus Roger Gracie. Right. Like I said, I don't know which Gracie this is. This is Gracie 10,012.
Right.
This guy's never fought in MMA. All they have on here... Oh, I stand corrected. He did... Shinjuku 2? I don't know. Sounds like Sudoku. Whatever. I don't care. The next fight, the 2 fighters you'll see is Antonio Bigfoot Silva, who, for some reason, I thought when they said Bigfoot, his foot, because he's like that big, but I thought he was really tall, but he's the same height as Andrei Arlovski, his opponent. Right. Arlovski's coming off 2, in my opinion, devastating losses. He had Fedor, in my opinion, beat.
Right.
Tried some flying knee, hunky-donkey shit and got knocked out.
Right.
Brett Rogers knocked him out in 22 seconds. So this is make it or break it for Arlovski. Either he wins this fight or he goes into boxing full-time. But The fight of the night, which makes absolutely no sense to me. I don't understand why this fight's happening. I don't know why Fedor is not fighting Alistair Overeem.
I think he took a pass on the title fight.
Why?
I don't know. Because he was supposed to fight out. I thought he was supposed to fight Overeem at a different point in time, and he didn't do it. Well, he's supposed to be in the last event, and he passed on it because of an injury or something. I don't know.
Right. And
you guys correct me if I'm wrong.
Fedor's next fight, I'm pretty sure, is going to be against Fabricio Verdun. Which,
it is.
I mean, okay. And the other thing is there's grumblings behind the scenes that M1 is giving Strikeforce a hard time, and they want Fedor to go to the UFC. Right. We'll see. Anyway, back to Overeem. This is Overeem's first defense of the Strikeforce heavyweight title. And versus a tough opponent. Kevin and I both seem to think that Brett Rogers has a chance to win this.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do. I mean, you look at Alistair Overeem, he's built like a brick shit house, man. The guy's got incredible physique. He's a great stand-up fighter. But the problem is, man, that Mark has got a glass jaw. I mean, if you look at all his losses, they've all come by his basically getting his ass knocked out. That could be a problem against somebody who's got such heavy hands like Brett Rogers, in my opinion.
And we all saw in this last fight, Brett Rogers faced Fedor. He took a punch. He gave a punch. Right. He had Fedor on the ropes again, but Fedor with his calm, collected self tapped that bam out.
And that was it.
So that's this Saturday for you folks. Tune in to Showtime, and you'll get to see Strikeforce Heavy Artillery.
We're changing the camera angle.
Shazam.
On to the NBA, the National Basketball Association, where my boys, the Los Angeles Lakers, have swept the Utah Jazz to move on to the Western Conference Finals. And who are they going to be meeting? The Phoenix Suns, who also swept the San Antonio Spurs, who are probably the oldest team in the NBA. So they didn't take their Geritol. They didn't make it to the finals. On the Eastern side, Dwight Howard and Jameer Nelson and Vince Carter seem to be just running the show. They swept and went right through the Atlanta Hawks. Not only did they go through the Atlanta Hawks in 4 straight games, but the point differential, the amount of accumulated points they beat the Atlanta Hawks by in those 4 games was the largest in NBA playoff history. Now, Georgia's boys, the Cleveland Cavaliers, seem to be struggling against the old Leprechauns.
Yeah, Rondo seems to be a problem. They're talking about putting LeBron James on Rondo.
Yeah. Well, they're going to have to do something.
Why not?
Because, I mean, he had one of the
17 rebounds.
17 rebounds as a guard. And he had probably one of the best playoff performances in NBA history. They are presenting a problem. But I tell you what, the biggest problem I see being presented in NBA is Dwayne Wade's wife. Shorty, the bitch is crazy.
You trying to get her number?
I'm not trying to get her number.
You like them nuts?
I like them nuts, but not like that, man. Wow. I mean, this woman, okay, Dwayne Wade, we got to always talk about the gossipy shit here, man. But Dwayne Wade has obviously been in a custody battle with his ex-wife for going on 2 years now. And he started dating Gabrielle Union. His ex-wife has filed a $50,000 lawsuit against Gabrielle Union, saying that she has caused distress in her 2 sons' life. The boys being, I believe, 8 and 12 years old. Because apparently she partook in some type of sexual sexual activity with Dwayne Wade, and the boys witnessed it. Anyway, the bottom line is this. This custody battle is getting so heated, it's getting so freaking crazy that George is actually... If you guys could see what I could see while George is filming, it's got so bad that Dwayne Wade says he doesn't know if he's going to be able to play on the USA basketball team this summer because it's going to spill into the summer, and so he might just be ass out of luck. We might not see him on the basketball team. Now, moving on from the NBA basketball thing, all the way to the last thing, and that is going to be what?
The end of the show?
No. Keep guessing.
The Yankees?
No. I'm going to ask you one question. You can give me the camera. Thank you. Brian Westbrook visited Redskins camp. Brian Westbrook visited the Redskins camp today. What do you feel about that, George? See, you're a diehard Philly fan. Dude, and you were definitely a fan of Brian Westbrook.
I am, because he was an all-around back. I mean, right. No one can deny what he's done in Philly. You, on more than one occasion, said if he's not healthy, then the Eagles don't stand a chance against the Redskins. True. He's a shell of his former self. Yeah. He's a local guy. Went to DeMatha, Route 90, like Route 95 or Route, what's his number, 30 something. He had shirts made up of like the local whatever. I wish him the best of luck. In all honesty, I don't even see him making the Redskins team. That team is very deep and very veteran at the tailback position.
Yeah, you got Portis,
Larry Johnson
and Willie Parker.
Yeah, Fast Willie Parker. I don't know. I wish him the best of luck. I hope he catches on somewhere. And again, I always kind of scratch my head and wonder what the Eagles are doing, but I've never really can second guess them.
Right.
Cut Corey Simon. He ate his way out of the league. Let Donovan go. It's probably got 2 to 3 years left. I don't agree where they let him go, but we'll see. I mean, I hope he gets on with somebody. But if it's
the Rams still have a strong interest in him. They said they're still trying to negotiate some things with him, so it might have just been another option.
Steven Jackson might like that.
Yeah,
he's a third down back. If anyone remember David Meggett from the Giants, I mean, there was a third down back. He was great at spilling those guys or spelling them. I guess
spilling, however you want to say it.
So all in all, I think that's what's going on in the sports world.
Yeah, man. Well, look, guys, we'll be back. See you later.